leave things at your place, trying to claim territory. Hey there, welcome back to Love, Dating and Marriage with me. A big welcome to all my new and returning subscribers. I really do appreciate every one of you. Now, this is the third part of a three-part series. If you haven't seen the first and the second, I'll leave a few links at the top of this video and in the description as well so that you can go and watch it. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you what to do when you start a new relationship. Now, if you're looking to go back into the dating world, not game, I just don't like the sound of dating world. So you don't want to date for the sake of dating. You want to be a bit more intentional with every step you take, hoping and trying to build a future that involves marriage and a family with this person. Then keep on watching. So quick disclaimer, to every relationship advice, there are exceptions. So everything that's been said may not be applicable to you, but by all means, please take what you must. So at the beginning of a new relationship, you have two people who truly like each other. They tend to put their best foot, best self forward. They try to impress each other. And you also try to test out whether he or she is going to hurt me, if this relationship is safe. And both of you just try to be cautious because, people will always be people. And at the same time, the beginning of a new relationship can be so beautiful and so sweet that you actually don't want the experience to end. And also you don't even want to hear what any other person has to say to you because the shoe fits and you're wearing it perfectly. Okay, so there's no need to listen to what any other person has to say outside your relationship. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us. So what do you need to do and how do you need to act at the beginning of a new relationship? The first thing is to get to know the person. I think getting to know the person is very underrated. Now, when I say get to know the person, I mean getting to know who they are inside and out. So you want to build a friendship with this person first, which will give you the foundation to be able to tell what they like, what they don't like, what their values are, what their principles are, what their view and their take is on money, God, children, education, and whatever it is that is important to you. The way you get to find out these things is by communicating and having regular conversations with this person. At the same time, it's a two-way street, so you need to be willing to let the other person get to know you as well. Get to know what interests you, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your relationship history, because just as you want to be intentional in getting to know that other person, I'm believing that the other person also wants to be intentional in getting to know you as well and not playing games. The benefit of communicating and getting to know this other person is that it not only helps you to be able to speak your mind in the relationship, but also to be able to listen. Because in a new relationship, you have to listen for information. You have to listen for a whole lot of other things. And one way that you can actually listen for a lot of things in a relationship is by asking questions. Number 2. Okay, so if there's anything that should be avoided in a relationship, it's assumptions. Oh my goodness, assumptions are the worst. You really don't want to make assumptions. I'm sure you've heard this before, that assumptions make an ass of you and me. I genuinely think it makes more an ass of who is doing the assumption. See, there are things we know that we know. There are things we know that we don't know. There are things we don't know that we know. And there are things that we don't know that we don't know. And the simple solution to these things is to ask questions, gather information, assess and evaluate the other person so that you can come up with your results, which would be your decision as to whether you want to carry on with that relationship or not. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together except they agree?" So there has to be careful, intentional, deliberate, and purposeful search for the right information so that your decision can align with God's word and purpose for your life. So examples of questions again can be on education, children, traveling, finance, family history, that's very important, sex before marriage, and also questions on what you want your relationship to be like. You'd be surprised what people would say. You'd be surprised people's views and opinions on questions like this. So you always want to make sure that you ask these questions. Now, you don't have to bring out a whole long list of questions and start actually checking or ticking them off like an interrogation on your first date or something. You're just going to scare the person away. No, it does take a bit of time. So what you can do is skillfully, slide in those questions when you're having conversations with this person, and also, just tick them off in your head. gradually. And by the fruits you shall know them. So asking the right questions, listening for what is being said and what is not being said, I believe places you in the right position to be able to decipher what kind of fruit he or she produces. So whether that fruit is sweet, sour, bitter, spoiled, or just outrightly bad for you. Number 3, establish boundaries. Now, when you're dating, when you're in a new relationship, what are your expectations of each other? Does the other person have permission to ring you up at 4 a.m. in the morning? Can they leave things at your place, trying to claim territory? Trust me, the people that actually do that. Can they invite you out to the club, show up at your house at any time? You know, you want to be able to set and establish healthy boundaries and agree on certain things at the beginning of your relationship, and not just allow things to unfold, because before you know it, someone's heart is broken. So you definitely just don't want to go along at the beginning of a new relationship just so you can get along. It's okay to let your needs and your interest be known to the other person. Again, this definitely goes both ways because it's a two-way street. Number 4, don't rush, don't compare. Just leave the past where it belongs. Now, newsflash, the person you're dating or thinking of dating is not your ex, and that's a good thing. That's okay, because emotional scars, wounds from the past, fear, insecurity, and ego can actually sabotage new and promising relationships. And you might not even know it, because consciously and unconsciously, you tend to start comparing with previous experiences of friends, and experiences of random people that we see on the internet. Sometimes you may not be able to help this, especially when there's a crack in your relationship. Your thoughts begin to go wild, you become very hyper vigilant, wanting to know if the person is betraying you, lying to you, or just using you. Now, except you can tell for sure that this other person is doing this nasty and terrible things to you, sometimes it may just be your assumptions working. So if you're starting a new relationship, or you're already in a new relationship, have some faith in yourself and the other person so that you don't ruin what could have been. And lastly, don't neglect the rest of your life. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people can make at the beginning of a new relationship is giving all their time and energy and attention to a new love interest while putting everyone else that meant something to them to the side. Interestingly, I find that this can also happen to newly married people. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it can be an unconscious act, but it can also be very much an intentional one. Because before your new relationship, you had a life, so you don't have to throw it all away if those people and those things were of value to you, except of course you feel very strongly the need to sever some connections. Regardless, you want to try to find a balance, build your life, walk in your purpose all together with your new relationship. Because when you neglect the rest of your life, it can put much pressure on the other person to be your all and everything. So balance is important. Right, so if you're looking to start a new relationship, ensure that you do your best to get to know the other person, ask intentional questions, set boundaries, don't compare, and just leave the past where it is, just so that you're able to determine if both of you are in the same book, same chapter, same page, same paragraph, and same line. I hope and pray that this helps you to be more intentional in your new relationship. And if you found this helpful, please like this video. You can also check out my Instagram and blog for more content like this. Share your thoughts in the comment. Let me know other things that are important to you in a new relationship. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It's free. You also want to hit the notification bell so that you know anytime I post a new video. And until we speak again, stay blessed.